Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Brent Brookhouse. I am here with Ethan Page, the hottest free agent in wrestling. A week ago, we were saying we were done, and thanks to the good people at Cage Side Seats, here we are again.
Boom, we're back. We never left, but we did, and now we're back.
Yeah, no angry, borderline sappy close down last week, but yeah, man, how are things going?
Well, not much since it's only been a week.
Yeah, but to be fair, I listened back to that episode, and like we didn't talk about anything that's been going on.
Yeah.
So you've got like stuff. You had your big Alpha One show. You had a lot of stuff going on lately.
Heck yeah, that Alpha One show went awesome. It was called The Final Act 8. I lazily have not edited the DVD yet, but it was a great success. Close to 400 people, which in that small venue is really, really good. And one of our best shows we've ever had. And I'm very excited for people to actually see it, gif it, watch it, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I know. You were talking a lot about how your match with Josh Alexander was like your biggest of 2017, based on the work and storylines and everything that have gone into it from your end. So are you happy with how that turned out?
Yeah, very satisfied, and I think the fans were too, especially with a big twist at the end. Spoiler alert. All right, spoiler. You could pause it there. Cody Rhodes turning on me at the end was kind of a shock to the crowd. We just released a video of it on Twitter today on the Alpha One Twitter. Check that out. It's cool. Like there's a close up of these fans with their mouths wide open. It was just a cool. You don't expect this to happen, and when it does, kind of blows your mind.
Yeah, that was a really solid clip. Yeah, so I guess usually we kick this off with a little bit of a rundown of your last week and where you've been, what you've been doing. So
let's do it. Let's keep it how it was before. Clearly, Cage Side Seat wanted us to do our very unorganized podcast on their website, which I'm okay with. So yeah, let's just keep it the way it was.
Yeah. So what was your last weekend like?
Well, I debuted for a magnificent company called PCW Ultra in California somewhere, but it was an experience that we don't, as wrestlers, we don't get that often. Not to say that other companies are caca, but this was a completely different experience because it was almost on another level. They had like lighting truss, like scaffolding, and ring skirts, 5,000 banners with their websites, and it drew close to 1,000 people. Stan Hansen was there. Kevin Sullivan was just walking around chatting it up with everybody. The main event was John Morrison versus Pentagon, and the first 3 moves were Canadian Destroyers. The crowd was going absolutely bonkers. Good merch, catering, and taco stand catering, which is right into my heart right there, or belly, I should say. It was just such a good experience. I can't say enough good things about PCW Ultra in California.
That's good. There's a lot of good stuff happening on the West Coast, it seems. Like them, obviously, Defy up in Washington.
And next week I got bar wrestling, so that'll be cool to see how that is.
Yeah, you haven't worked bar, right?
No. My first one is next week.
All right.
But it was a great experience. I ended up wrestling Kikutaro. I was supposed to wrestle Willie Mack, cut a promo for it and everything. But Terry Funk ended up not being able to perform on the event because his wife ended up getting ill, so he had to go home. Obviously, I would have done the exact same thing. So kind of shuffled the card up a bit. Like, this card was crazy. Like, Sandman wrestled, Brian Cage, ACH, like I said, Pentagon obviously named already. Johnny Nitro, like it's such a good show. Just very happy. Just very happy to be a part of it.
And did they have the all important water bottles backstage?
Oh, by the case full. They had actually coolers with Dr. Pepper, Sprite, and water. That's a very strange choice. Dr. Pepper and Sprite and water. Like that was it.
Well, that's it's
Hey,
better
who
than
knows?
most places.
Well, way better than most. But what I'm saying, they had like vegetables, any chips. Backstage was great. They had a massage therapist there. Actually, both of my shows had massage therapists, which is weird because the ones in California messed me up, and then the one in Chicago the next day fixed what they did to me. But this old man literally just beat the living crap out of my whole left side, and I was like, "Sir, you're gonna have to stop. I can't do this. Like, I'm in way too much pain." And it was almost like a dick measuring contest. Like, he thought, like, he's probably massaged enough wrestlers that they've gone, "No, you could push as hard as you want." That he automatically assumed that I would want the same thing, which, for the most part, I will be that douchey wrestler that says, "Oh, you push as hard as you want." But this dude just had it out for every muscle in my body. He wanted me to absolutely. Maybe he was like a kink like that. Like that's what he liked, was punishing strong, tall, muscular wrestlers. Yes, I just described myself as strong, tall, and muscular, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, backstage was great. The event was great. The management was great. The staff, it was such a good experience. Can't wait to go back to PCW Ultra. It was very, very cool. Check them out. The production value is insane. They announced that night that the Great Muta would be coming to debut for their company. Like, who the hell does that?
That's pretty awesome. That's like almost a throwback to indies when I was like a teenager were such garbage. Like it was just local guys that were, mostly out of shape, and then they'd bring in one or two old timers, and now it's become like, indie wrestling is awesome. These shows are loaded, and now there's like all these really cool old timers that are getting brought into stuff. Like, Black Label Pro's been doing that on all their shows out in Indiana, and
Yeah, I've ended up wrestling most of them.
yeah, you did. Did you work Ernest Miller that first show?
If you call it that.
I mean, I still haven't watched all of that show.
I did have a match with him.
All right, and then oh Jesus, I just blanked on who it was.
Manny Fernandez.
Yeah. And then like Ultimo Dragon, keeps taking bookings now, and there's just a lot of cool shit happening.
Heck yeah, like Stan Hansen was there. What the hell? I got to shake his hand. That was cool enough for me.
Well, that's good. That's
yeah. So, anyways, I'll continue this on to the next day. West Coast, or what is that? What would that be? Coast to coast flight from Canada to LA, and then coast to coast from LA to Chicago.
I guess if you're just going by like coast of Lake Michigan.
Yeah, I have no idea. People were saying like, "Oh, that's a far flight." And I'm like, I don't know. They all suck for me, but so I ended up going to Chicago, or LaSalle, Illinois. We actually bumped into each other there. What did you think of that show?
It was a really good show. I was still in a weird headspace. Like, my promise to myself is I'm not going to talk about Flow Slam anymore. Like,
you also promised it to them, because they're going to give you shit if you do.
There's that, but there's also just like, I don't want to. Like, there's no point in dwelling on it. However, I was in a really weird headspace at the AAW show where it was like borderline depressing, just immediately throwing myself back into an indie event. But like the stuff on the card was great. There was some really good stuff. Riddle and ACH was tremendous. But then, there's some people in crowds, man. And there were a couple gems at AAW.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't bring something up and then not talk about it.
Well, I mean,
That is literally what we're doing right now.
we've
This is a podcast.
we've got the same guy. I think we both kind of impacted both of our nights. Drunk,
the drunk fan, the bald guy.
yeah, the drunk guy that was, he screams the entire show, which is one thing, but it's screaming to make himself the center of the show.
Yeah, so that fan, like, I've wrestled for AAW before it became what it is now. I was there every month for years, and that guy would always be there. And
he's been at every AAW show I've ever been to.
Yeah, and you know what? Not drunk, nice guy.
Yeah, I mean, I've had problems as a fan there, but it's with anybody that tries to override what's going on in the match by just yelling, and he has his moments like that, but he was in extra special mode on Saturday.
We say rare form around here.
Yeah, he kept stepping. I was taking photos and stuff, just doing work stuff, and he kept getting in the way, and then at one point he told me he reached for my camera and was like, "Hey, stop taking pictures and just enjoy the show." And it's like, dude, I'm here.
Oh my god, that's so annoying. First of all, you're not friends. Don't tell someone how to live when you don't even know them. You don't know someone's situation. Well, you could have been who knows? You could have got hired to be there as a photographer.
Right. I mean, I was there as media. I mean, I talked to Danny, I talked to Mike. So, the guys that run AAW, they knew why I was there.
Yep.
So it's just, and it was just obnoxious. And you wrestled DJZ there, and it felt like that was the peak of how bad he got during that show.
I legitimately remember the beginning of the match coming out, and this guy already annoying me. Front row. Who knows if he even paid for that ticket, or because half the show he's in the back row trying to schmooze with somebody, but he was in the front row, just would not stop yelling. And eventually I was just like, hey, nobody in the crowd likes you. You suck. Shut up. And I heard a couple people kind of come with me, which is a terrible idea for me as a heel, is to point out the one thing that we all hate and be friends about it. And then DJZ was like, don't worry, I don't hate you. And he went out to hug him. And I was like, oh, he did not catch on to the vibe that this guy's giving everybody. So as he was getting in the ring, I did a pet peeve of my own, which I instantly regretted because I was in such an awkward situation with this idiot fan. And I could tell he was sucking the life out of the crowd. So when DJZ hugged him, I said, hugging that guy is like a heel turn. And I was like, why did you do that, Ethan Page? You're such an idiot. So I'm hoping that they edit that out, but they probably won't.
No, I don't think so. I mean, the thing is, the guy was so loud through the whole show that, trying to edit around him and things that referenced him was near impossible.
I just meant, me saying heel turn in the middle of a match is hey, this is fake. Now watch us beat each other up.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing, is he broke the entire atmosphere of the show,
which sucks. So this happened at Alpha One, that exact same thing. Obviously, my patience is a little maybe shorter than Danny Daniels, the owner of AAW. But
wait, does anybody have less patience than Danny?
Yeah, I for sure do. Especially with him. So there was two guys. They were standing at the front door during the entire show, and they got more drunk. And the saddest part about the thing is that they used to work for me. They were my commentators back in the day. When I first started Alpha One, they actually helped me out. Also, the first sponsors. So they came, they bought tickets, they supported, which was great, but the beers are so cheap in the venue, they got drunk. And by midway point of the show, they were so drunk they were yelling the stupidest things. So in the middle of my match, they're yelling my real name, my TNA or Impact Wrestling character name, stuff that had no relation to the match whatsoever. And this is now they don't come every show. So what pissed me off is they're taking away from something. This is our big show that people have invested hundreds of dollars in to finally see the ending of this story. And these two idiots decided that it was okay for them to take away the atmosphere from the people that have actually supported it for a while. So I ended up sending them a message because I know them personally, requesting that they never come to my events again and that they should be embarrassed about how they conduct themselves in public while under the influence of alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a weird thing.
Not worth the $40 to me.
It's such a weird thing because obviously a lot of places draw because of alcohol. I mean, and it's not a bad thing, but I mean, we talked about it at Freelance, that part of the draw for Freelance is that it's, you know, Chicago people come and drink and watch some wrestling.
Yeah, half the crowd for Freelance doesn't even know who anyone is or care. It doesn't matter. Right. They're there for a show and beer.
Right, and it's usually a pretty good crowd there anyway. I mean,
yeah.
And I mean, somebody, during the show where Space Monkey got knocked out, during one of the matches, somebody yelled, "Kill that faggot," and the crowd turned on him hard. So I was like, all right, it's not a bunch of drunk assholes. It's just a bunch of drunk people that want to enjoy themselves for a little bit.
Heck yeah, with nothing wrong with that.
Right. Nothing wrong with the drinking. Definitely something wrong with the yelling.
Yelling
slurs. Just to be clear, I don't want that to get out, and then people be like, "Yeah, Ethan Page, you should hear about that."
Oh, come on, Brent.
Oh, I know, but yeah, it's like there's this line with alcohol at wrestling shows where people hit this point where it's like, "Oh yeah, I'm at the show and I'm in the show now," and it's just it's a drag. Hey, one other thing from that DJZ match. Did you guys, I couldn't see from where I was at, did you guys go to do some spots on the bar and have the bartender yell at you to not?
Oh, okay, so let's get into this. Another heartbreaking moment. So there was a point in the match where I get sent over the guardrail and DJZ runs and jumps over the guardrail just off the floor and kind of dives. Then we were going to do some stuff on the bar. So what had happened was he ran and jumped before we made eye contact or I turned my body around. So you'll actually see it on the DVD. As I'm turning around, I see he already jumped, and I freak out and go to catch him, and his head hits my chest, and it pinched a nerve in his arm, and his whole right arm went numb. So he's audibly saying out loud, "Hey, man, I'm hurt." But he's saying it so calm that I'm like, oh, he's just messing with the people because we're in the crowd. Then eventually he goes, "No, man, I'm really hurt." And I was like, oh, shit. Okay, what do you want to do? He goes, "I don't know. Let's try this thing on the bar." So I put him on the bar, and the guy on the bar starts freaking out. He's like, "Get off the bar. Get off the bar." So I'm freaking out because he's hurt. And I'm like, great, we're going to lose the venue, and I'm getting blamed for this. So we pull him off the bar awkwardly. I punch him. I go to throw him over the rail. He throws me over the rail. Whatever. We do the rest of the match. Kind of. Not all the match. We had to, cut some stuff because my man's injured. And, so that absolutely sucked.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because where I was standing, all I could see was you guys head towards the bar and then the old bartender get real mad.
Yeah, so that obviously sucked, and we should have checked in advance, but, ask for forgiveness, blah, 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 that whole bullshit. But frustration, my man. That, I was going to say, oh, when, but so there's days where you put a match together and you genuinely just can't wait to pull it off because everything seems to click real well. You and your opponent, there's a mutual agreement that, yeah, this is going to be really good. Ideas are flowing. Everything's great. That match planned in our heads should have been the match of the night and instantly got derailed by the fan on the entrance, his injury, the bartender. And by the end of it, it was just like, man, today was not our day.
Well, that sucks. one other thing this week, which we've talked about a little bit on some previous shows, but it finally went to air, the Park and Park commercial on Impact.
Yeah! Made my debut, kinda.
And seems like the feedback has been pretty good, but obviously you've seen a lot more of it than me, so what are you hearing there?
I'm hearing it's doing well. It was the top viewed YouTube clip of the episode for a little while, which was cool. Just kind of like either people were interested in something new or happy to see me, which I'm happy for both. People love the character. I personally love the editing. Was blown away. I can't wait to see what airs this weekend or tomorrow or today. Whenever you're listening to this, it's probably Thursday. It airs tonight. Impact Wrestling. Check it out on Pop TV, Fight Network, and apparently in Canada, Game TV, the Game Channel, the Game Show Channel. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, good feedback. Very happy. They're very happy with it. So yeah, hopefully it leads to more. We'll see. When I know, you'll know, and I'll tell you. But yeah, very happy.
Awesome. Yeah, so you've got that going on. We'll wait to talk about what's coming up for a little bit later.
Sure thing.
Man, let's hit some questions real quick. We got a good amount of questions in.
All right, lay it on me. Unless it has anything to do with any kind of scandal in independent wrestling, I do not want to talk about any of that stuff. It makes my stomach hurt.
Yeah, that's so hard to avoid, but we can do it.
All right, fine. Let's talk about it.
All right, I guess instead of getting into specifics, because I think people know, there's the stuff with Glory Pro and Elgin and everything. I guess just like
I love how you said, let's not get into specifics, and then actually named everybody.
Right, but we could go into the specifics of what's been talked about, and I don't.
Very unnecessary, because
right.
I feel like there's not enough. No, I don't want to say that because that's going to get me in trouble.
Right.
I don't know everything. I genuinely try and distance myself from anything like this, just because ignorance is bliss, I guess, and I never want to give an opinion on something that's completely wrong. So, man, see what I mean? I regret this already.
Well, okay, how I was going to approach it, because I did want to bring something up, is that I think the more interesting thing to ask you about is, you're a promoter, and a big part of this has been, I guess, what do you feel is your responsibility as a promoter to make the environment of your shows safe?
So that's such an interesting thing, because what's not safe about going to a show?
I guess it's...
Or is it...
I think it's more if you were...
Oh, man, I'm going to get in so much trouble, but I just feel like I shouldn't say... Don't say anything, man.
Do you want to just edit this part completely out?
No, because I feel like we're doing a disservice to not talk about things that people are either reading or dealing with. I mean,
I think
that's what a podcast is for. Okay, let me preface this first in saying I don't condone any sexual assault, abuse, any mistreating of not only just women but people in general. I'm a very happily married man. I'm about to raise a daughter. I'm a good human being. I open doors for old ladies, so that's out of the way. I understand people's complaints, and I say people's in general because I get sent either screenshots, tweets, whatever, and it's not just one person. There's quite a few of vocal fans saying, I want shows to be safe, and I completely understand that. Obviously, no one wants to go to an event that's not safe. But my question is the safety of the fan from bell to bell, or before and after the event at an undisclosed location?
I think
Is that terrible for me to say?
well, no, I think that it's unfair to think that a promoter can control everything 365 that involves fans or wrestlers on their shows. I think it's more
For sure. But okay, so when someone says to me the safety of the fans, I automatically assume physical safety. So ladder matches, dangerous. Obviously, don't go near the ring. Hardcore matches, we've had chairs fly, and that upsets me because I don't want to get sued. I don't want fans to get hurt. I don't want to ruin someone's experience because of a stupid mistake like that. I've never in my life as a promoter thought one of my talents is going to sexually assault somebody, or
I think it's more
or is it verbal?
I think the question, at least
Isn't this hard?
at least over the last week, I think the question is if you are hearing from people at your events, either talent or fans, about situations, be it sexual assault, physical
So
assault.
okay, so you're saying if someone on my show got outed for doing something terrible,
Right.
would I fire them?
I mean that's one part of it. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, for sure. And not just to save face publicly, because I wouldn't condone that as a human being, and I wouldn't. Not only would I not want to give money to that person, I wouldn't want to give opportunity to that person, and I'm big on locker room environments. I don't want anyone on my show that has to work for me, because we don't even get paid that much, to have to deal with looking at a person like that. Or, you know what? People, like, let's say a story hit, right? Such and such did something to such and such. And, wrestlers have to, like, this is so, like, we're going so fucking psychological. I can't believe I said the F word. We're going so, like, psychological and, like, deep and shit. I'm just trying to make sure I don't say the wrong thing, because it's the easiest thing to do in 2017 is say the wrong thing. Wrestlers are human beings as well. So someone, as a performer, as a wrestler, there's a possibility they too have been sexually assaulted, verbally assaulted, mistreated, and trauma like that. I would never want someone in my locker room to be almost like a mascot for negativity, so that when they see that person, they're instantly reminded of whatever past experience that they've had before. So in a heartbeat, I would get rid of that person. They could be my best friend, and I would turn my back on them.
All right, fair enough. I think that kind of covers it. It's such it's such a difficult topic to get into.
This is the worst. Worst. I hate it. I hate it so much. Like,
and it's depressing. Like, on top of just not, it's just so depressing. And
I will end it with this. I think karma's real. So if something happened, I hope that person or those people end up getting it in return in some other way. Be good human beings. If you make a life choice like getting married, be faithful. If you don't want to be, don't get married. Raise your kids right. Why am I giving people life advice? This is so stupid. This is a wrestling podcast.
Oh, well, I guess maybe we can transition to a life advice podcast. Because the two of us have it together.
Oh, yeah. You know, me scrounging to make ends meet, you just getting fired. Yeah, we're pretty much two bums trying to tell people how to live their lives.
Yeah, but, somebody's got to. All right, Pound Sterling at Cage Side Seats.
Yo, that sucked, right? Like, that was awkward?
The whole segment?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Just awful.
Like, my armpits are wet.
Yeah, it's super uncomfortable, and it is such a scary thing to even talk about, because if you say anything wrong, then all of a sudden you're the one eating shit, so...
Did we? I don't think we did.
I don't think so. All right. Pound
I don't
Sterling.
want to edit it out, though. I don't want to. I'm sorry. We will go to the next thing. I just want to discuss my decision to not edit it out.
Right, and I think the the main takeaways for me are, listen to people, don't be, treat people well, like you said, and if you know that someone is a bad influence, then keep them away, and that is the key to, safe and happy crowds.
Yeah, and if something bad happened to you at a wrestling show, this is gonna. If I went to a McDonald's and whatever happened to me, and it was very bad, I probably wouldn't go to a McDonald's again, and that's okay. Like that's not. Okay, we shouldn't have talked about this.
Right? No, because I mean, obviously, it's okay. All right, let's move on.
Like I've dealt with stuff in the past. I'm sure. Whatever. Okay, fuck. Let's go to the next thing. This sucks.
Right, because I mean,
So
obviously, your point was not, if some shit happened to you at a wrestling show, just stay away from wrestling shows. Like, you shouldn't be put in a position to give up on the things you love.
Yes, okay, thank you. Oh my god.
But
It's like, how do you give just a heartfelt opinion on something that no matter what you say will be misconstrued, I can't even say the word, will be twisted into in an automatically negative way. Here, you know what really sucks is that obviously it's great to shed light on things, especially when it comes to celebrity. And I say celebrity in such a, I don't know.
There's different levels of celebrity, and celebrity exists in different worlds. Like Brian Michael Bendis is a celebrity in the comic book world,
right? But if there was
I'm not going to talk to my dad and him be like, "Oh yeah, Bendis, yeah."
Right. If there was news about him, it would affect me because I'm a fan. So wrestling, yes, wrestlers are celebrities to, a select group of people. I can't believe I already forgot about what the hell I was going to say. Oh, when it comes to outing celebrities about things, that's great. There's a certain appreciation for it because we have to work with these people. And, as a performer, I only wish success on good people because, we trust our bodies with them. We share, locker rooms with them. And obviously, yeah, if they've hurt somebody or they've, disrespected their families or whatever they did, it's good to shed some light on that because it could end up being positive in the end if the issue gets fixed. But so much goddamn negativity, man, and it's like something so good, like let's say a piece of art. A piece of art gets released on the internet and it's got I don't know, a certain amount of likes and shares and buzz, but the second something negative hits the internet, it's like a torrential downpour of support. And I don't even mean in this exact scenario. I mean absolutely anything. If someone gets hurt and there's a clip of it, that will get shared forever. If someone does a flawless whatever, that'll only get so much play. And it's this disgusting, I don't know if it's like a mental thing or if people are just genuinely evil. I just wish that there would be I wish there would be just as much or more enthusiasm for positive things or, people's genuine efforts to improve in wrestling or perform or whatever. I hope you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're saying that there's value in the takedown, but it would be a really great world if we had to worry a lot less about that and more on, the really good aspects of anything.
Yes.
Okay, so let's
move on
away from that topic right now.
Jesus.
Pound Sterling on cage side seats. Now that Ethan's had some time in a larger company like Impact Wrestling, by the way, love the Park Park and Park vignette. How does creative and match planning differ between there and the indies or your own approach in Alpha One?
Not that much. Like the Park Park and Park little commercials, there wasn't really a script. It was kind of just free-flowing improv that once we did a take or two, it was like, okay, we like that, stick with that. And by the end of it, sorry, I'm yawning. It's past midnight, almost 1 a.m. By the end of it, I was pitching lines for Abyss and vice versa, and it was such a good dynamic. And as far as match planning goes, I mean, it's pretty much the same. You get your time, and you go out there and you stick to your time.
Yeah, and I don't want to get into it here because it's in the Another Way to Get Paid with DJZ, which is still out there on the internet, but you told a story about that with the referee screaming at you to end the match a little on the early side.
Yeah.
So go check out that interview because it's really good.
Yeah, really good interview.
Also, the same person asked, as a wrestler who's often noted for your charisma and promo ability, what lesser-known wrestlers do you think are doing that stuff well?
MJF won't be lesser known for a while. He'll definitely blow up in the next 2 years, 3 years. Anthony Green, there's something there. He's really new. Especially new to breaking out on the indies, and I think that once he becomes comfortable as himself instead of tries to force this cool, cocky persona, because he's definitely not that person. He's a dork, so he just needs to be himself. But he has usually if someone's really good at holding a conversation or making people laugh in real life, it translates well to wrestling once they find a way to balance who they are as a person. I would say those two for sure. I'm sure there's more. I'm just having a brain fart right now.
Right on. Let's see. A question for Mr. Brookhouse. Hey, that's me.
That's you.
That's me. Is there a realistic chance an all-women's indie promotion can gain momentum like other promotions like Evolve, Ring of Honor, etc.? I'm not too knowledgeable on the indie scene, so I don't know if there is one on the rise or not.
Ironically...
Rise,
yeah. Shimmer has been doing it for years.
Yeah, Shimmer, Shine.
Legitimately one of the most respected companies on the independents, and it's all women.
Yeah, there's Stardom.
It's out of Japan.
Yep, you've got Rise, like we said. Rise is pretty new and
rising.
Yeah, and they're somebody actually commented what I was going to say, that they've that Rise is getting Shimmer, Stardom, and Rise all kind of working together, which that's a big thing if you're talking getting to that bigger level. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, Shine draws really well. Especially as far as DVD sales and that kind of stuff, and so I think that the all women's promotions actually do pretty good business. It's just a matter of a smaller talent pool, but one that's gotten really, really good. So
definitely.
And it's nice to see AAW, that show Saturday was
crown their first women's champion.
Yeah, and a really, really good match. Jessica Havoc took the title. So yeah, there's stuff, man. Let's see. That was Foreign Object on Cage Side Seats. Lou Thez on Cage Side Seats. Man, Lou Thez. He said, I've always had a question about booking fees. Does a free agent determine what they charge by their popularity/demand, or is it determined by what they think they are worth?
I mean, I guess that's both the same.
Well, I guess it's, it's one thing to say people are asking you to bring me in versus you just called me and I think I'm worth this much. But, I mean, I guess one way to phrase it is, do you have a set amount? Obviously, don't say what it is, but do you have a set amount that, this is what I am worth? or is it this is what I'm worth this weekend because I'm getting calls from 4 different places?
Oh, so yeah. Well, look, there has been instances where I've been offered the same date by multiple companies, and it's not really a bidding war. They're not talking to each other, but I will say like, hey, blah 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 blah. Or if I have an event booked, like I feel so bad. I've had to cancel on Blitzkrieg Pro out in the Boston area twice now. One was for a UK tour, and one was for a tour coming up next year in a country I can't talk about yet. But I just feel like it happens, and you like you're not really, like I said, they're not bidding against each other, but there's value in more money, so the person that offers the most will get the date essentially, or the most beneficial event for my popularity or growth that might get precedence too. It all really depends, but yes, I do have a set rate.
And I would assume travel, whether it's included or if one is more closely located to the following day where you're not losing money on travel. That's
sure. Yeah, sure. Like there's always deals to be made, but there is a very specific amount of money for like me to appear or perform, I guess.
All right. Let's see. Josh O'Mara. My question is, how many shows do you work per week? I think that's variable, but generally you're working 2 to 4, right?
Yeah, between 2 to 4, yeah.
But the more interesting one, I think, is how long does it take you to recover from soreness?
That's a good question. Usually around Tuesday, I'm back to normal. And it's not really about the matches, more so the travel and no sleep.
Right. So your body doesn't have the chance to rest up.
Yeah, or recover, or I'm just like jammed into a small space for a large amount of time.
Are you ever going to do anything about your wrist? That is my question to you.
So yes, I went to go see a doctor, and it's pretty noticeable, eh?
Yeah, it's real nasty, man.
Yeah. So I ended up finding out that my wrist is actually not broken and never was. It's a ganglion cyst that is often appeared on women who either do gymnastics or dishes, like a lot of dishes, like washing with their hands, or someone that works on a computer. So the doctor kind of said, like, hey, what do you do other than wrestling? And I said, I'm a video editor. And she said, oh, okay, so gymnastics, you got the wrestling, and then working on a computer as a video editor. And over time, repetition kind of grew this cyst. And I can get it drained, but it will come back in 3 to 5 days. Or I can get it removed, which I would have to take 2.5 months off, and it still could grow back. Or I can just live with it, and eventually it might, there is a chance, but not high, that it'll just go away on its own.
Yeah, I had a family member who had one of those, and he insisted on slamming books onto it to just, like, smash up all the fluid to redisperse it. So
yeah, so mine's
super horrible idea.
Yeah, mine's too hard to do that. I used to be able to rub it away, but eventually it just calloused pretty much, and all the fat kind of attached itself to each other, or whatever it is in there. But yeah, like if I put a flashlight to it,
I'm absolutely going to put the clip from the DJZ interview where you hold your phone flashlight up to show all the horribleness.
Yeah, exactly.
I will put that in the post.
So there is fluid in there, but it's kind of like really thick, and the needle that they would have to drain it out is apparently a very high gauge needle. It sucks that people are listening to this. This is a visual thing. I know podcasts aren't visual, but imagine an ankle on a wrist is pretty much what I have, and then double the size of the bone that looks like an ankle. I just have a giant testicle attached to my wrist, and yeah, it sucks. Like I play with it every day. It's so annoying. It genuinely gives me anxiety and drives me crazy. And I drive a lot, so to have to stare at it 24/7. And right now, I'm on a crazy diet and been losing a lot of weight. So the fat on my arms is deteriorating and leaving. So all I'm left with is an even bigger sized ball on my wrist. Obviously, the leaner I get, the more visible veins are, as well as this giant cyst. So yeah, cool, man. Thanks for making me talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're if you're listening to this on the Cage Side Seats post, just look down a little bit. I'll have the clip in there. If you're just listening through iTunes, Stitcher, or whatever, go over to cagesideseats.com, find the post for this, and I will have the video of all that weird stuff.
And let's just give a giant thank you to Cage Side Seats, just because like this was fun, and it's going to continue to be fun, and obviously controversial. We're stupid enough to talk about stuff we shouldn't, but it's very cool of them to reach out and give us a platform and a new audience. Obviously, we got a bunch of questions, which is great. Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. They're good people there. SB Nation is where I kind of got my start in the writing business in general, so it's real nice to kind of be home a little bit. We have more questions, though. Graham Williams on Twitter. Very cool you found a new home. My question, who would Chandler Park rather defend in a legal battle, Space Monkey or the deer his car ran into?
Ooh, I would rather defend the deer, because clearly the deer is the victim. It got hit with a vehicle. So Chandler Park and Joseph Park, from Park and Park, would... You know what? We would gladly defend both, because at the end of the day, we're going to end up winning, and the money will come in no matter what.
Right on. Mike Allcutt, the best graphic design guy in the world.
Yeah, what a good dude. So he okay. So here's a little story. Sorry, I'll give you a little bit of this. So he hand painted a Spider-Man. Like, I don't know, it's like a canvas. It's beautiful. I tweeted a photo and Instagrammed it. Check out my Instagram at official_ego, and taped a $15 Taco Bell gift card to it. Shipped it to my house, which I shouldn't be giving my address out, but he did so much work for us. I blindly trust this man to not mail me anthrax or something. So this thing is immaculate. His talent is incredible. You have to check it out. Please go to my Instagram and comment too what you think of the art, because I'm sure he'll see it. And artists, especially ones that do stuff like this, like, he's not getting money out of it. The joy for him is knowing that people enjoy it after seeing it. And I told him he's extremely talented, and it was an early Christmas present for me, so I'm very grateful for it. But yeah, check it out and support him, dude. He's super awesome. He does all the art for us for all the episodes and graphics and stuff. He's incredible.
Yeah, all our really cool graphics, he just sends those over to us, and every single time we get a new batch, and it's like, oh my god, this guy is so good.
Yes, and he does do, what is it? Oh, commission work. So if you're looking if you're a wrestler, hell, you want to get a t-shirt design, he's designed a bunch of t-shirts for me. Incredible, very fair prices. What's his Twitter? Let's just give him a plug.
It is at Pursuit_Fighter.
Pursuit_Fighter. Check him out. He can design your tees, your posters, dude. Legit, whatever. He sent us the Justice League one, and I was like, this is better than the movie.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah,
so good. Anyway, Mike asked on Twitter, in both of your opinions, what's the best tag team and singles rivalry in history? Which is such a heavy question.
Holy crap! How do I even answer that?
I'm going to take the singles rivalry away from you, Stone Cold and Mr. McMahon. Yep.
Okay, that was going to be mine as well. Or Rock and Mankind was really good.
Rock Austin's great.
Yep.
Hogan Savage.
Yes. Mega Powers Implode. That was awesome.
Yeah, tag team rivalries are a little harder.
I guess I would say maybe Hardys and Edge and Christian.
Yeah, the Hardys, Edge and Christian, Dudleys, that whole
That
kind
whole
of
group
grouping.
of guys, yeah. Man, yeah, that is really tough.
Yeah, anyway, that's something. We at least gave something for both
How
of them.
about you guys tweet us and let us know what your favorites are, and we'll discuss them next week.
Absolutely. There we go.
Tag team specific, because singles we named off a few. We are singles wrestling connoisseurs. Send us tag team feuds that you guys loved, and we will discuss them. We'll say whether we even know what they are. Who knows?
Steamboat Flair. Singles.
Yeah,
obviously.
There you go.
We'll just keep throwing them out. Yeah, I'm looking through. I don't see any more questions.
No problem. That was great.
Yeah, that's awesome. That was a really good group, and we're right on time. We got 10 minutes to that hour mark, and we got to talk about what's coming up because there is at least one huge show that you're on this weekend.
Just one?
Well, I don't remember the rest of your dates outside
They're
of one
all
of them.
huge. Since you're listening to this on Thursday tonight, I am somewhere in Minnesota or Massachusetts or where
Those are distinctly different places.
Where is Massachusetts is Boston. I guess I'm in Minnesota. Where's First Wrestling? That's Minnesota, right?
Let's see.
Yes, Minnesota Wrecking Crew. Yeah. So I'm in Minnesota for First Wrestling. Abyss is on the show. Tommy Dreamer's on the show. All Egos on the show. It's pretty stacked, and I'm super pumped. Eric Cannon runs a tight ship, and apparently it's sold out. But you might be able to get some GA standing room only. Check out at First Wrestling with the number 1 as the I. Then Friday night, I return to Chaotic Wrestling. That's in Massachusetts area, kind of near Boston, somewhere there in that area. And I'm wrestling Josh Briggs, which is a very talented up-and-comer, so I'm very excited about that. Then Saturday, the show I assume you were alluding to, Cage of Death.
And you're obviously in the Cage of Death and going through panes of glass and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, no effing chance. I'm wrestling David Starr, and Tim Storm, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, will be in the house. And I personally would love to welcome him to the Combat Zone, which is weird because I'm not even like a combat guy yet. But yeah, anyways.
And yeah, that show's got like everybody on it.
Yeah, it's Cage of Death, bro. Jimmy Havoc versus Jimmy Jacobs. That's dope as hell.
Yeah.
Shane Page in the main event versus Joe Gacy and Shane Strickland in the Cage of Death.
Ricky Shane Page is your guy. That's your dude.
I love him. He's a happy-go-lucky guy. He's a good dude. He would never hurt a fly, and I like people like that. People that go through life just being genuinely good people. I love that. So I support him.
All right. So, hey, the one thing we left off earlier, you didn't give your young guy or whoever's doing it right this time, whatever. Which is a segment that has never once had a consistent name for new listeners, where you talk about people from the past weekend who you think are worth keeping an eye on.
You know what? It's so tough because both shows were so stacked with like top indie talent that. Oh, okay. There was a guy named Hammerstone, and he wrestled in California for PCW. Looked exactly like Triple H, but 20 years younger. That's not a shot at you, Paul. I'm just saying he looked like you 20 years ago. And I think he did a pedigree, which I was like, oh, that's too on the nose. But definitely good body, and he tore it up with Brian Cage. Hammerstone is my guy. Check him out. That's this week's new guys that Ethan sees while traveling to shows with other guys, even though I'm not like an old veteran, but I still like to appreciate new guys segment.
All right, so we're at a tight 54 minutes, and it is 1:08 a.m. So I'm saying we cut this.
Sure. Oh yeah, sure. You were waiting for my approval. Like I don't want to go to bed.
Oh, I'm just making sure that you're not like, oh, but I had something awesome to talk about.
Of course I do. I always do. Check out my Twitter at @officialego, my Instagram at @official_ego, and prowrestlingtees.com. patreon.com/Ethan Page. If you love the podcast, support, even though Brent doesn't get any of the money for it. But, I mean, I'm sure he won't be mad if you buy an Ethan Page shirt. Right, Brent?
Oh, absolutely not. And I finally have one of these to plug. Obviously, Brent Brookhouse on Twitter. And I have a Patreon now where I'm churning out newsletters with analysis, original reporting, all that kind of fun stuff. We've got some other...
Explain that. What the hell is that even?
What is a Patreon?
What is analysis newsletter?
Well, I mean, it's your standard newsletter looking at the news of the week, but I'm also working on original stories, feature pieces and stuff, which I'd probably be running somewhere if I had a kind of a full-time gig talking about MMA and wrestling. And like I said, I'm working on a few pretty big stories that are taking a lot of time to put together, but those will be in there. I've got some upcoming podcast projects that will be featured on there that aren't this one. Those will be primarily MMA based. So yeah, if you wanna support my work over there, it is patreon.com/blownspot. And yeah, so go do that if you've got a couple extra dollars and you wanna kind of support the work that I've done and will be doing.
But if you're a broke ass and got no money for the next 20 days, but you still want to watch wrestling, don't worry about it. You can watch wrestling for free for 20 days on me. Go to powerbomb.tv, use promo code ALPHA1 with the number 1, not the letters, ALPHA1. You get 20 days for free. Check out Alpha 1, Beyond Wrestling, AIW, IWA Mid-South, whole slew of wrestling. It's awesome. 20 days for free. Just try it out.
Absolutely. And that's a wrap on today. So, yeah, I'll talk to you next week, man.
That's a wrap, like a Christmas present. Even though I'm already done shopping, Amazon.com. It's the best. I don't know why I just said that. All right.
I haven't even started shopping because I don't know what my budget is.
What does that even mean?
That means I got fired.
Go to Amazon, bro. There's daily deals.
Okay, so that's our Amazon sponsorship segment.
Yeah, let's get sponsored by Amazon. Okay, I will say this. So Amazon's sick. I have Amazon Prime. I don't know, why am I plugging them? And I ordered some stuff for a relative of mine, just in case they listen to this. And it came in the box. The box was damaged, and there was a book in there, and the book was barely bent. But as a collector of these said books, I wanted to make sure that it was in good condition. So I called Amazon, and I was like, yo, what the hell? This, and this. There's 5 items in here. 2 of them came damaged, and I mean, like, one of them, the box was completely ripped, and you can't display it or hang it on the wall. And the lady was so sweet, and she said, all right, we're sending you the replacements now. Don't worry about sending us the old ones back.
Well, that's just awesome customer service, and I think Amazon is now legally obligated to give us money.
Hell yeah! I just sold you. Get a Prime account, yo. Bam.
All right, man. I will talk to you next week.
Oh, I'm so mad I'm awake right now. All right, see you later.
Bye.